As we all know, gaming PCs can be expensive, like seriously expensive. And often, when you build a PC under £800, you've usually had to sacrifice a lot of performance to keep the price down. But in this video, we built a PC for just over £700 that will perform insane at 1080p as well as 1440p. This PC offers amazing price to performance, and I can't wait to show you guys what we've built. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Alright, to kick things off, we're using this ASRock B550M HDV. Now this wasn't the board we originally was going to use. We was going to use a Jinyu B550i white board that we picked up for under £50. And that, along with the other case I was meant to use, would have actually kept this build under £700. But unfortunately, that board, the XMP, didn't work. And this is the second time I bought that board, and the second time that exact issue has happened. But oh well. We're also pairing it with a 5700X, which I got for an extremely cheap price for under £70. We're using 32GB of NeTAC DDR4 in white, clocked at 3200MHz CL16. And for storage, we're using an Oracle E7400 PCIe 4.0 M.2 with speeds up to 7,400 megabytes a second. Now I got this drive for under £40, which is an absolute bargain because they're about £60 brand new on Amazon. So AliExpress definitely helped in saving a lot of money with this build, and especially even things like DDR4 RAM with the prices shooting all the way up. We got the RAM for under £40, so that's actually a pretty reasonable price considering that. And to cool our 5700X, we don't need anything beefy, but we went for a Thermalright Assassin X120 SE ARGB in white. So the 5700X is only a 65 watt TDP CPU, so this cooler will be absolutely fine, and in fact you'll see in the video that the temps were absolutely amazing. I really do like the Thermalright coolers. They offer great performance and great price as well for what you pay. And for the case, we went for the NZXT H3 Micro ATX case in white, which we got from Amazon for £59.99. Now, the annoying thing is, it actually dropped in price by £10 about 2 days later, and it doesn't come pre-installed with ARGB fans, so we had to add 3 Thermalright ones, which cost us an additional about £12. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we had a case in mind for the build with the Jinyu motherboard, and that case would have been £50 with 3 pre-installed ARGB fans, and it would have been a fish tank style case, so it may have looked even more appealing for a lot of people, especially with the all white aesthetic because the board would have been white. But like I said, these things do happen when you're building PCs or flipping PCs. Things don't work, you have to adjust your parts, adjust the price or the cost of the build, but this is all part of the game. And for our power supply, we're using the trusty MSI Mag A650BN. Now these can be found for under £45 here in the UK, and they're honestly really good power supplies for that price. You get 2 PCIe cables, so you can power quite a lot of GPUs. And for the graphics card, we're using RTX 4070, which we got for about £370 on eBay. Now, when I bought this a couple of weeks ago, or maybe over a month now, this was the cheapest listing for a 4070. A lot of them were going for more £400. Now, it was a black card, and I did decide to spray paint it white. The only thing that annoys me about spray painting cards is sometimes certain PC parts are like a different shade or different type of white, and I think that's the case with this 4070. It looks a little bit different to the actual CPU cooler, but either way, the whole white aesthetic will hopefully help this PC sell quite easily. Now here's how the build turned out. Let me know in the comments what you think. The only thing I don't like about this case is the bottom mesh where the power supply compartment is quite see-through, so all the cables I cable tied and bundled together in there. With the RGB lights on and the PC all turned on, you can kind of see it, and that kind of makes it look a little bit cheap to me, if I'm completely honest. But like I said, there's not a lot we can do about it. It is a decent case from a reputable brand, and it has got decent airflow and space up top for mounting water coolers up to I think 280mm. But yeah, either way, that's how the build turned out. Okay, so now for gaming, we first tested GTA 5 Enhanced on the maximum settings, but we initially turned off ray tracing just to see what the FPS was like without ray tracing, and honestly, it performed just as expected. absolutely amazing. And as I mentioned, you could definitely play a lot of games at 1440p. Some more demanding games will struggle without upscaling, but either way, GTA 5 was absolutely fine. We did actually run it with a FPS cap the second time round, just to see if it would improve the 1% and 0.1% lows, which it actually did. And then at the end, we also have a clip of us enabling ray tracing, where once we get back into the city, you'll see our FPS dip under 100, but still, for maximum settings and ray tracing on, that's pretty good, and you don't need a crazy high FPS for this game. Okay, so now for Valorant, which is a much easier game to run. We actually played on low settings, which is kind of ironic considering this game could easily run it at ultra, but I just wanted to push the FPS as high as possible, and any competitive Valorant players would be playing on the lowest settings anyway to achieve that max FPS. And honestly, we got a really good FPS, over 400 for our average. Our 1% and well, mainly 0.1% lows were pretty bad, but once again, maybe capping your FPS would actually fix this issue. But just like Fortnite, Valorant is a CPU intensive game, so realistically, if this was a game you wanted to play, you would invest more money into your CPU and get a slightly worse GPU. Alright, so moving on to Forza Horizon 5, we played on the Extreme preset, and for some reason my game was running 15 FPS at the start. The game decided to set a 15 FPS cap, which I instantly had to remove as soon as we got into the game. Now, I know that Forza Horizon 5 isn't exactly a new game, it came out over 4 years ago, and it's not hard to run either, but if I'm honest, I actually just plan to get a whole 10 game benchmark out in a separate video for this PC. So if you have any recommendations for games you want me to test on this PC, please let me know. But anyway, on the Extreme preset, this game ran absolutely fine on this PC, and honestly it looked really nice visually, especially driving around at night. And now for our last game, Cyberpunk 2077. Now, because I run the in-game benchmark, I decided to run 3 different setting presets. And you will see on screen at the top the different settings we use, and as you can see, it's completely different games across the board. Ray tracing really is demanding, and especially without any sort of upscaling, you can see our FPS right near the start in the actual building was extremely low. But I would say that enabling ray tracing and maybe just adding a bit of DLSS, even if you set it to quality, would be fine for 99% of games. But as you guys know, and we all know, a lot of games are becoming even more demanding now, and a lot of them are requiring ray tracing, as well as things like upscaling, DLSS, FSR, etc. But this is once again another game that will run absolutely fine at 1440p as well, depending on the settings you want to use. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video and the PC build, and I will put just on the right hand side the full breakdown of the costs of this PC. But anyway, I'll catch you all in the next video.